Dartmoor, in the southwest of England, is well known for its folklore legends and tales of the paranormal. One of the best known stories that has been told, written about and speculated on in recent history is that of Kitty J, a local servant girl who committed suicide after being jilted by her lover sometime in the late 18th or early 19th century. Her grave lies approximately 1 mile away from Hound Tor in the Manhattan area of Dartmoor. The story of Kitty J seems to have been changed numerous times over the years, and the exact circumstances behind her death are still uncertain, but it's most commonly believed that she was an orphan child, taken in at first by a house for the poor in nearby Newton Abbot. Being a nameless child, Mary J was the name given to her by her carers at the home. Over time though, with the retelling of the legend, her name has varied, often being referred to as Kay or Betty Kay, but Kitty J remains the most commonly used today. As she reached adulthood, she was employed by a local farming family at a farmhouse in Manhattan. She worked as a servant girl at their home, where she met the landkeeper's son, who, according to legend, she became besotted with, and a secret love affair soon blossomed. Kitty J fell pregnant by the young man, but she misunderstood his intentions, believing his feelings to be as genuine as her own. But she was wrong. Ousted by the shamed family and heartbroken by the young man's denial that he fathered her unborn child, Kitty took her own life by hanging herself in a barn in nearby Canna. It's thought that her body was taken to this very resting place in Manhattan, which was a crossroads at the time, a traditional style burial for people who took their own lives. Suicide was considered a crime back then, so people who died at their own hand were denied a traditional churchyard burial as method of punishment. The story of how the current gravesite came to be is relied on by the North Devon Journal's 1851 report that a local workman who was removing soil from the area to widen the road came across the remains, which were determined at the time as being that of a young woman. The bones were collected, placed in a box and reburied in the same spot, with an unmarked granite headstone being its only marker. At the time of her exhumation and reburial in 1851, no one in the area could recall the time of the original burial, but it was concluded that the remains were between 60 and 90 years old, estimating very roughly that she died somewhere between 1761 and 1791. However, there are versions of the story that say Kitty J was born in 1790, so the suggested dates are extremely vague. For years this was the only time frame given until an author by the name of Lois Deacon retold the story in the 1973 book An Angel from Your Door. In it, the year of her death was given as 1806, but as the book was based on both fact and fiction, with no reference to the sources of information, its accuracy is in doubt. In recent years, this story has taken a more paranormal turn. It is said that when you visit Kitty J's grave, there will always be fresh flowers placed on it. Initially, the person thought to be responsible for placing the flowers on her grave was an eccentric Dartmoor author by the name of Beatrice Chase, real name Olive Catherine Parr. But when she died in 1955, the mysterious custom continued, which led people to believe that they were placed there by a ghost or spirit, with some people claiming that they'd seen a dark ghostly figure looming over the grave. Other versions of the story lend themselves to fairy tale folklore, with pixies being cited as the bringer of flowers. During the 21st century, however, people have claimed to have seen the grave with fake flowers or no flowers at all, so maybe the legend has run its course. Whichever version of events you choose to believe, Kitty J has grown into an unlikely heroine of Dartmoor, and she still attracts the attention of tourists, who often leave coins or other small items at the unmarked headstone that has become a shrine to her.